The California Gold Rush brought 300,000 people to California between 1848 and 1855. In fact, the population of San Francisco was just 500 people prior to the gold rush. When the dust settled, San Francisco had reached a population of 150,000 in just 7 short years. 1849 was the peak year for immigration to California during the gold rush. This is where the term 49ers came from. With so many people flooding into the area to find riches, I think the real question is, who actually ended up with the riches in the end? Very few gold prospectors ended up rich. Not because they couldn't find gold. Many did find gold, but given that California wasn't even a state yet, and was technically a territory occupied by the US military following the Mexican-American War, it was quite easy to spend the gold you found in place of currency. So while gold was actually fairly plentiful, it ended up in the hands of people who never even tried to pan for gold. One person who made lots of money from the boom of the gold rush was Levi Strauss, the man behind the still very popular brand of blue jeans. There are lots of stories about how he got his start. Some claim that he arrived in San Francisco during the gold rush and started sewing work pants and tents from the sails of abandoned ships left by the hopeful gold seekers. These items were very high in demand during the gold rush. While this makes for a good story, it's actually not true at all. In fact, Levi Strauss arrived in San Francisco in 1853, well after the boomtown had taken off, but the gold rush was still going on. His family owned a dry goods business in New York. He set sail for the exploding town of San Francisco in hopes to establish a successful store there. And he did. His business was quite successful. Levi was not a tailor. He was an entrepreneur and businessman. It wasn't until 1872 that a tailor from Reno, Nevada, named Jacob Davis, sent a letter to Levi Strauss saying he came up with a new way of fastening pocket openings and would like to partner up to obtain a patent for the use of metal rivets to hold the jeans together. Thus, modern blue jeans were born. While Levi made most of his fortune after the gold rush ended, he still got his start during the boom of the gold rush. There is another man who arguably gained the most from the gold rush, Samuel Brannan. He is known to be California's first millionaire. In 1847, Samuel opened a store in Sutter's Fort, which later grew into the city of Sacramento. In early 1848, Samuel noticed employees of John Sutter who worked at the Sutter Mill were using raw gold to pay for goods in his store. While some were trying to keep the gold a secret, Samuel realized he owns the only store between the gold-filled American River and the city of San Francisco. Samuel wasted no time, as news of the gold was quickly spreading. He went to San Francisco and bought all the gold pans, picks, and shovels that were available, with the intent to resell them in his own shop. After securing the supply of the needed tools, he intended to publish news of the gold in San Francisco-based California Star newspaper, but couldn't because after hearing about the discovery of gold, all the staff ran off to the gold fields. He instead went up and down the streets yelling, "Gold! Gold on the American River!" It is said he paid 20 cents for each gold pan, which he then sold for $15 in his shop. He ended up making $36,000 in 9 weeks at the beginning of the gold frenzy. In 1849, his store was making $150,000 a month. He used his wealth to buy properties in San Francisco, and he was elected to be one of the first on the city council. For reasons not clear to me while researching for this video, he eventually lost his fortune, got divorced, and died broke and alone. He died in California at the age of 70. His body was unidentified for over a year in the San Diego County receiving vault until someone recognized him by pure chance. For many years, there was only a stake marking his gravesite.